La 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 la. La 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 la. One banana, two banana, three banana. Wow, the banana splits. Why the hell? Can't remember. Can't remember what I had for breakfast. Can't remember how to find my way home while taking a walk. But I can remember the banana splits theme song. Yeah, chair shots or make life fun. Krusty says just popping in to say hi. Unfortunately, can't stick around. So have fun, Curtis. People. Oh, well, thanks for popping in for a second while you could, Krusty. Who knows? It might be just Curtis. There's always the chance we won't get any notifications at all. Oh wait, no, Alpha's here. You got the fan art that was posted in the Discord. Oh yeah, that was so well done. Madman Bob made that one. That was. I've been meaning to make a uh just to make it into an appropriate size for being a thumbnail. When I get the Curtis Candy channel revamped and everything running over there, that's going to be the icon pick for the whole channel. Hey, Philip. And Diddley's in. Hey, Berries. I'm here now, damn it. Again, notifications are even seemingly lately worse than usual, so no idea what we're going to get or not get in that regards. That's what she said. No idea what we're going to get or not get. Just checking something as we go. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you were saying earlier you got a hot date, Berries. Yeah, I mean I don't have anything hot. You guys probably knew that already, though. So did anybody actually get notifications? We are over 2 minutes in. I'm gonna think most of you guys found your way here either through the Discord or through seeing something like on a sidebar or something recommendation. It's just, you know, sometimes it makes you wonder if I don't. I shouldn't say that. I don't ever really get too carried into that mode, but sometimes it makes you wonder if Twitch can possibly be worse. All right, Berries. Now we're talking. No notifications, Philip says. Was lucky to see the stream on my homepage for YouTube. That's what I figured. That's what I thought. I mean, and it's gotten to where now a lot of the times it's not even small numbers anymore. Like, it used to be, okay, only a few people would get them. A lot of times, at least for the first several minutes and sometimes hour of streams, they don't send any. The system is just completely, well, can you call something broken if the people in charge of that system have absolutely no desire in fixing it anyway? Is it even actually broken? Because YouTube doesn't give a fuck. I mean, if you're one of their big YouTubers who bring in a lot of views, bring in a lot of money, like if we're doing PewDiePie like streams, and you had that huge influx of ad revenue and YouTube taking 30% of all the super chats and everything, they'd make sure notifications got out then, but outside of that, they don't care. Oh, you did get a mobile YouTube notification, but not desktop that I've set up with a Chrome extension. I'm surprised you even got that. Wow. Wine and cheese and Deadpool. I love the Deadpool movies. Ryan Reynolds is just fucking awesome. He's clearly become one of my favorite actors. This is amazing to me. I'm just distracted here. It's 4.5 minutes, and as you guys can see, nothing. Wow. And particularly, there's two things in the title today that typically, I mean, I've gotten to know you guys, typically draw a lot of interest. First, the just chatting. People like that. The just sitting around chatting thing. The just chatting streams I've had always tend to do well for attendance. And wrestling. we've got so many wrestling fans. Even this morning on that Minecraft stream we were doing, and of course, the time of day I do them, and the fact that it's Minecraft doesn't get a lot of viewers in, but the majority of them in there were all into discussing wrestling and everything. And I know we've got a lot here. It's just nothing being sent out. Wolverine says, "Heal me up. We can wine dine in '69." No. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right, Wolverine. You were Stream Boss. Oh yeah. Now you're in a little better shape as Stream Boss. You're not teetering on the edge of disaster. Hey, Seth. I'm actually interested to see. This is one of the, you guys know. I mean, Wolverine, Philip, you guys are here every day. This is one of the worst we've had for no notifications to go out. We are at 6 viewers 6 minutes into the stream. We haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Long time. I still think, I'm wondering, because we streamed earlier with the Minecraft stream, and I uploaded one video today. The other one was uploaded last night, but I made it live today. I think YouTube stopped sending out notifications. It's like they have so many bizarre fucking ways they go about things. It's like, well, why would they care how often we post content? What difference does it make? They think all of a sudden we're spamming or something after being on here for 11 years and acquiring almost 300,000 subscribers. Now we're going to start spamming. Barry says, orgy date, you, me, Wolverine, or maybe Brax. Brax is always game for something. Yeah. No, Jason, nobody's getting them. Nobody's getting notifications today. That's what we're watching. It's like record setting today. Because even on slow days, on a slow day, we're 7 minutes in. On a slow day, 7 minutes in, we might be at 25, 30 people watching. That's if I do it at an off time and notifications were really, really low. So we're at 12 viewers today. I don't think, I mean, you guys are with me all the time. Have we ever seen that? Because we started streaming as soon as it became available on YouTube many years ago. But even then, we had already been in existence long enough that we had enough subscribers that I don't think we've ever been 8 minutes into a stream and had nine people involved in it. A lot of people have said that to me, Wolverine. He says, for some reason, I don't get notified about live streams. I do for other content. Which, and now, this is why I wish we could pin somebody at YouTube to the wall and ask them questions and force them to answer. How can you possibly justify that? There's nobody here any more consistently than Wolverine is. I don't remember the last, especially this time of day, stream that Wolverine wasn't here. Even if it was just to pop in and say, hey, I got something I got to do, but stopped in to say hi. So how can they justify not notifying somebody who has proven over the course of years to be interested in this content? I think I should start doing live streams where I just keep calling Susan's office. Because I'm in New York. In New York, by law, only one person has to know a call is recorded. So it's perfectly legal for me to call and broadcast it. There are some states where, you can't do that because both parties have to know that they're being recorded or the call is being broadcast. But New York is not one of them. That would be interesting. I'll just keep calling every day and well, they probably just eventually close the channel down, right? That would be kind of interesting, though. Hop into the wall. Hey, Bobby. Oh, cool. Krusty came back. So got more time on my hands. Well, good. We need all the help we can get today, Krusty. We're not doing notifications today at all. So, James says, I've come for the love of wrestling, not the hate. Philip says, how about we kidnap some random YouTube intern and waterboard him? I'll get the chair, the duct tape, the towel, and the bottle of water. Right. We were talking before you came in, Poop Fart. We were talking about that same thing. Poop Fart. Great name. YouTube really only care about the concerns of the larger creators. They make up a good percentage of revenue that comes into YouTube. Yep. So if none of them speak up, there won't be change. Right. You're right. 100%. That's what I was saying. Now, if you, example I use is PewDiePie streams. If we did streams that generated the revenue for YouTube that PewDiePie's generate, you bet your ass notifications would go out. There's not going to be any delay there. Yeah, that's the thing too. I wonder how much. Well, I think YouTube is wildly dysfunctional. I think Google is a wildly dysfunctional corporation in general. I my personal opinion, I don't know if you guys agree. My personal opinion is there's like likely next to no real communication between frontline workers at YouTube, the people who actually go in and make decisions on what contents can stay, what content has to go, so on and so forth, and the upper level management at YouTube. I don't think the upper level management at YouTube gets involved in the actual running of the platform at all. At all. Hey, Sync. C2D says I have been summoned. Poppy says I was sent out to till to cover a break. Just as I got to the till, I heard a crash from the back room. A shelf collapsed and the shelf contents fell right where I would have been standing. Holy shit, that's freaky. That freaks you out. Near serious, injurious experiences like that. Philip says, that doesn't work. We can always try the old car battery to the testicles. Agreed. That always seemed like a quality method of getting people to cooperate. I agree. That's what I think too, Krusty. He says, from what I understand, upper management in YouTube is mostly financial stuff and talking heads. I think so too. I think they have little to no interaction with or interest in the actual day-to-day operation of YouTube. So in other words, just like things we have now, the only way I would ever, and it's still not a done deal that I won't, because every once in a while it just grates on me to where I think about getting a lawyer. Just like me having this warning on the channel for content that continues to be displayed all over YouTube, all over the place. And they can't say they don't know. I've told them 3 times in interactions with them. And it does have an effect on this channel's overall health. So once you can make a case that something affects you financially, that's what allows you to sue someone for financial rewards. Indo says, what's up, my bro Curtis? Back again, just cooking up some more mac and cheese. I can't do that mac and cheese. Even if it's not American cheese on it, I just can't do it. Jesus Christ. Sink says, Karen came into the pizza place I work at and decided it was a good idea to spit on other customers' food after being told to wear a mask. World is falling apart. Yeah. Wow. Oh, no, here, Madman's here. He says, hey, sorry I'm late to the party. I just noticed the thumbnail. Thanks a bunch for using the drawing. Thanks a bunch for making it. I told the gang, I've been meaning to make a an image out of that I can use as a thumbnail. But my eventual goal with it is once I get time to get the Curtis Candy channel up and running, I got to revamp everything over there. That is going to be the main icon for the whole channel over there. I love that. That's a phenomenal drawing. I agree completely, C2D. That's well put. YouTube management is just a financial vehicle that just so happens to run a business downstairs. Yep. Yeah, there's no communication. None. And I don't think there's any desire for there to be. It should be illegal to hunt Karens year round. Wolverine says. Yeah. Gabe, did you hear that Lance Armstrong has an NFT, a non-functional testicle? Solaris says, hey, Curtis, do you know how to get notifications working? I know this is a common question for me, even though I'm a regular, but Susan can't be ours to get the shit together. Thanks to the Discord. Yeah, Solaris, I mean, what YouTube tells us is you got, what is it? You got to click the bell, which I'm sure you guys already all know that. You got to click the bell, and then you have to tick the box saying you want to be notified. But we know for a fact it doesn't work. So we got bunches of people in here who do just that and can't get notifications. Hey, Big Green. Philip says, in other news, I went to the movies for the first time in years on Sunday. Cool. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Stranger Tides. Should tell you how long it's been. Saw the outfit. I've been a few times, since the pandemic. I love going to the movies. I would have been more. It's just so hard for like Spaz Kid and I. Spaz Kid and I have more similar likes in movies. So him and I go together a lot, but our schedules haven't been working out. And my wife and I, it's rare we can find one we both like. Madman says, hell yeah, my art is now part of Spaz iconography. It certainly is. Glad you like it. I love it. I love it. Like I say, that's, if I can get everything straightened here and start getting the gaming channel and Curtis Candy channel up and moving again, that will be the icon pick over at the Curtis Candy channel. Poppy says, unless karma was on my side moment, I can now nail a somersault, can you? Jason the Killer says, it is weird. I was getting other streamers' notifications, but not yours. Yeah, there's some serious randomness to all this, and some things that aren't random. Like, for instance, the whole thing with the warning on the channel, that's not random. That's somebody on the front lines at YouTube was bound and determined they were getting that done to our channel. Because they had tried it just, a month prior. And I was able to get that one removed, and then they did the exact same thing again. Came at us, because the only thing they would be able to even remotely take a stab at coming at us for, as far as community guidelines, would have to be in one of the try not to laughs. And so they just picked out some random thing. And when it's pointed out that, this is up all over the internet, people have it everywhere. It's not even age restricted anywhere. They just go, yeah, cool, fuck you. And they leave it there. And again, if I fully believe if it was something I had the funds and the time to do and you took them to court over, I think you would clearly, easily win, because it's obvious discrimination. How can it not be? When you point it out to them, hey, how come everybody else can do it? And they just go, well, we don't have to answer that. Fuck you. Now you have to have this act taken against your channel that could potentially affect you greatly monetarily. But it'd be a lot of time and effort to get after them. I got to duck out early. Be right back, Madman says. Okay, pal. Timothy says a copy of WWE 2K22 is being shipped from Gamefly. Hope it's good. Everything I'm hearing about has been really good, Timothy. Brax loves it. And all the other friends I have that have played it have loved it. Everybody's saying it's really good. Poppy says reading 5 manga series at the moment. Hellsing is on par with a manhwa I'm reading called Leon. Who would win, Broly or SimSimi? Nicholas says. Well, if it's playground insults, clearly SimSimi. I do think Broly would effectively be able to squash the lemon, though. Philip says, movie theaters have changed since I was last there. As long as I can remember, there were those uncomfortable plastic seats with not enough padding. Now you have reclinable lazy boys. I know. Some of them. There's one theater specifically we go to on occasion out by Braxton's College. Excuse me, guys. It's got the fully reclined chairs. I mean, the electric recline, and it's got the I think it's got the, what does it have, like the massage and the foot things and everything. Oh yeah, it's just over the top. It's crazy. Barry says, for a joke, you should get a lawyer to stand in the background of videos and streams that'll stop you before you do say something that'll cause YouTube to pluck you like an ugly stray hair. Well, that would actually be funny, Barry's, that would be a funny sketch to do, because you would have the lawyer standing behind you, and pretty much every other word he'd have to go. Because we've already proven that YouTube will contort anything to suit their needs. If they decide that they want to hit you with community guidelines, they'll just make it up. C2D says, just from observations on other YouTube channels, there appears to be a system that makes the strike system and the like more easier to be triggered on certain channels YouTube has a problem with. Yeah, and I think this is, nobody knows for sure, because obviously YouTube does things in a very despicable manner, so they're not going to discuss them out loud. But what we can assume is you have people working on the front lines of YouTube who go in and check content. And so say a person comes in, checks some content, and just doesn't like something I said, doesn't like something I stand for. Hell, it could be an anime fan who hates the animes that I love. Any reason. So if you get somebody on that front lines doing that, they can just go through at that point and then say, well, let me go through your videos. All right, well, oh yeah, that's a definite violation of our community guidelines, because, and then they can do all kinds of mental gymnastics to make it fit and file the strike. And then when you appeal it, they just turn around and say, well, no, look, here's why I put it in there. And they explain those mental gymnastics to the next level. And people at YouTube don't care. You think these frontline people give a shit if what they're doing is fair or reasonable or anything? That's why I say there's no disconnect. There's no repercussions for them. Susan isn't going to come down and fire them for singling people out. So do whatever they want. Warfare Batman. Shadow says. Oh. Wolverine says, what are Michael Jackson's pronouns? Hee hee. My favorite DBZ villain, Nicholas, is Perfect Cell. I love Perfect Cell. Just such a wise ass. Great villain, I think. They probably get raises for it. Probably do, Big Green. Probably do. I've got the either later today or probably even tomorrow, we will start the favorite Naruto character. Now, what I've done with that tournament is we're going to have 2 32 character tournaments. The software I use online, or the website I use, I could make a 64 character tournament, but it gets so big on the page it's hard to read. So I thought it's better I'll make 2 32s, and then the 2 winners will face off in the championship. But I just put them all together. I can give you guys a sneak peek if you want to see them. It's not like it's a big secret or something. Hold on, let me find where I put them out, and you guys can take a look at the brackets. And for any of you interested, come on. All right, here's round 1. Hold on, I gotta put this up in a post to you guys. All right, and then round 2. Come on. Load up. There we go. Wait a second. Did it give the... Oh, no, it's there. Okay. There you go. If you guys want to see who's in the tournament, those are the 2... those are the 2 links to each round. Wolverine says Chris Rock gets slapped. Yamate will senpai. Oh yeah, that Minecraft world that BTG has created is a blast. It's so much fun. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Gabe says, I think it's really shameful how people criticize Lance Armstrong for taking drugs. The man won 7 Tour de France's on them. When I'm on drugs, I can't even find my bike. My favorite Naruto character is David Bowie. Yeah, I should have actually today's stream. I should have made that the topic. I meant to, and I forgot. I wasn't thinking when I set it up. So what did you guys think? Before I give my opinion, I'll see what you guys think. What's your opinions on the whole Will Smith Chris Rock thing? Who was right? Who was wrong? I want to see what you guys have to say before I say what I think. I heard that one, Rigid Rat. What did Chris Rock get at the Oscars? Fresh Prince. Didn't it heal a little, pal? I don't know why. Maybe it didn't. Excuse me. At first, I thought it went up a little bit. Will it not? No, that wouldn't make any sense. It doesn't say will it not do it if you're back to back, but you weren't anyway. Oh no, it did because it was you healed it, then Barry's took it back, and now you just healed it back up again. So you just went you got it back to where you were. I didn't see that at first either. Wolverine, yeah, Barry's got one in between. I'm glad he got slapped because it was really funny. When you make fun of someone with a disease, you're kind of asking for it, in my opinion. There are certain areas you just stay away from, at least on national TV. See, now that I entirely disagree with. Because no matter whatever else, so if you take that stance, you're saying that it's okay to immediately escalate words into physical violence. So for those who feel that that's okay, all right, suppose it goes a step further. He goes up, and now you're saying, okay, those words were enough to make it justified for Will Smith to smack him in the face. Well, suppose Chris Rock decides he didn't like getting smacked in the face and didn't expect to get physical violence in response for a joke that he's paid in a venue where he's paid to tell jokes. And as Will Smith is strutting away, say Chris Rock shoves him off the edge and Will Smith bangs his head on a chair and is laying in the hospital as a vegetable, let's say. That's justified too then. If you're going to stay consistent with your logic, that's how things escalate. That's how you end up with things like wars. Because somebody decides that having a disagreement means that you can begin to lay hands. And that's what I don't disagree with. For a tame joke. And I agree with Daihaj what he says too, in the respect that was a fairly tame. Even they say there are reports coming out saying Chris didn't know she had alopecia. I didn't know she had alopecia. But even if he did, it's not a terminal disease. Sorry, I've heard a lot worse in comedy clubs for a lot of years, directed at people in the audience, just random people, let alone celebrities. It was an overreaction, and because there were plenty of things he could have done that would have been more effective. If he didn't like it, he could have stayed right at his seat. And if he would have sat there and his wife looking distraught by it and says, "Nice, Chris, I really appreciate you going after my wife's illness, dude." That would have been way more, for lack of a better term, hard-hitting than what he did. At least then he doesn't look like a violent douchebag. And then all the mobs would be on his side. He would have had everything. Chris Rock would have been the villain. Philip says, Will Smith is a cuckold. Yep. Angry that his wife sleeps around on him. He's just taking his anger out on the wrong person. I agree. Instead of slapping Chris Rock, he should be slapping Jada with divorce papers. Right. True, but at the same time, talk shit, get hit. Them's the rules. Ooh, are them the rules? Listen, you guys know my background. I love fighting. I love it. I don't believe, no, I can guarantee I have never struck anyone who didn't want to fight. Because if you want to have a verbal go around with me, I'm more than happy to do that. Hell, I have plenty of them in the written word here on in comment sections and stuff on YouTube. But I have never taken anything anyone had to say and escalated into beating them. Particularly somebody, as in this case, who might be several inches shorter and 50 pounds lighter than me. if he wanted to start to get nasty, I can get nasty with my words too. I could have come back at him with a million different things. I don't see that. Let me. Krusty says, if your response to a comedian making a joke is almost immediate physical violence, you're in the wrong. Right, period. Not to mention the joke wasn't even about her in the first place. It was a segue. No, I don't believe for a second it was staged, Christopher. I spent a career doing my best to make stage fights look real. That was real. The slap was 100% real. And I don't believe for a second Will Smith and Chris Rock got together beforehand and Chris Rock said, yeah, fucking lay into me with one. I don't buy it. What's the gain? Hey, Cheyenne. Good to see ya. Just got finished watching the greatest Christmas movie ever, Santa's Sleigh. Goldberg is a rampaging demon Santa. Highly recommended. Well, let me put it this way. As somebody who has been on stage telling jokes and plans to be again in the future, if I were in that situation then especially to those who are saying that that's a justified reaction, let me ask you how this flies then. I know me. I know exactly what I would have done. If I tell that joke, and I would have got caught by the slap too, because like Chris Rock, you aren't, as he comes at you, you're not thinking he's going to take a swing. You're thinking he's going to come up and do a bit or something, especially since you were just laughing. Because his initial reaction, we all saw it, was he was laughing. So you're thinking it's going to be a bit or something. Then the guy comes out and slaps you. Now, what he did was he slapped and immediately turned to walk back to his seat. Like, he deserved that to get to do that. If it's me, I don't give a fuck who it is, and I don't care if the person kills me. If they slap me, we're fighting. We're absolutely fighting. I don't care. But he made it easy. If he slaps me and then turns around, I'll guarantee you what I'm going to do. I'm climbing right up on his back, and I'm going to lock in the snuggest, tightest, rear naked chokehold I can, and I'm going to hold onto it until they tase me to get him off. So if that's the case, and he ends up with some sort of brain damage because of how long his oxygen supply is cut off, am I justified too? Or is it only justified for one person to escalate and not the other? So that would be my next question to everybody. At least with a slap, not picking him up, dropping him on his head. Both are physical violence as a reaction to a joke, as a reaction to words. Both are physical violence. He did take it like a champ. I'll give him that. Rat. I'll give him that. More like Mrs. Potato Head, Joel says. But I'm curious because I see a lot of people saying that, oh no, it was justified. So at what point does escalation stop being justified, or you can just take it forever? When it says, I imagine the camera freezing when you choke hold him and voiceover going, this is the moment Will knew he fucked up. He did handle it well, Philip. You're right. If this happened, I would have thought he would have thrown a punch back. He did. He did handle it really well. And you even hear him, if you listen to him on stage, he was planning on sending some verbal fire. Because he said for a second there, he went, oh, I want to, and then he caught himself. So yes. Yeah, he did. He handled it extremely well. And again, was it a kind of tasteless joke? Yeah. Do tasteless jokes get told those things all the time, though? Yeah, they do. I mean, look at Ricky Gervais. Yeah, absolutely they do. James says, I get aggressive over my wife easily, but I don't know, overreaction. Yeah, me too. I'm very protective. And if somebody had said something like that about my wife, I'd be pissed. But even me, and I love fighting, I wouldn't hit somebody over it because at that point, it's a verbal confrontation as far as I'm concerned. Now, if within that verbal confrontation, the other person gets up and starts getting in my face and I think there's going to be a fight, yeah, then it's on. But I don't need to turn a verbal confrontation into a physical one. I can have a verbal confrontation just as well. I know. Cheyenne says, I like all the non-relevant celebrities trying to get another 2 minutes of fame by commenting on this. I know. Spaz Guy, what would happen if you put Chris Rock and Will Smith in a match? Well, Chris Rock, from what I know, I've always been a fan of both guys, to be fair. I like both guys. But if I'm remembering things that I've heard Chris Rock say over the years, Chris Rock himself says he's not a fighter. He was always a class clown type guy, just kind of, it's kind of a likable clown, like a lot of comedians are. So just based on size and you would assume strength, you got to give Will Smith obviously an edge. And the fact that, again, Chris Rock he's not a fighter, never claimed to be. Diehash says, remember that sitting in the front row of the Oscars put you in the firing line and celebs are allowed to opt out if they don't want to be roasted? Yeah. And that's, again, it is alopecia. It's not cancer. And there are options. I know personally someone with alopecia, and she wears a wig. I mean, she had that option to her as well. So, again, could you call it tasteless? Sure, you can call a lot of jokes tasteless. But you go back to Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes. Nobody came up on stage and slapped him. and that joke that Chris Rock told within the context of what Ricky Gervais did wouldn't even be a blip on the radar. It wouldn't have made a highlight reel anywhere. Will Smith WWE finisher slap, Ron says. Joel says, "Oh, sugar honey iced tea." Chris Rock, Madagascar. I love him. And yeah, in Madagascar, he's the yeah, the zebra. Yeah, that's good. How old am I? I'm an ancient 60 years old. The big 6-0. Krusty says, the funniest thing I've seen about this is Alex Jones breaking down this entire slap situation. Really? Seriously, though, that slap looked weaker than any girl I've seen and felt slapped. Yeah, it wasn't a particularly well-placed slap. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence. So many times I don't know, especially with celebrities, it seems, but whenever you see a fight break out, they immediately out themselves as not being able to fight. I saw highlights, Luna. I didn't see the whole thing. Luna says, did you happen to see the boxing match between Eddie Hall and Thor Bjornsson? Honestly, better than I expected for 300+ pound former strongman. Yeah, it wasn't actually too bad. But again, I saw some extensive highlights, but I didn't see the whole thing start to finish. Cheyenne says, Curtis, you're younger than my parents. You're not old. At least I'm younger than somebody. always makes me feel good. Big E is missing WrestleMania. I thought so, Nuclear Pigeon. That's a shame. That's too bad. That was inexcusable. I mean, that can't happen. I watched Monster Mazoom. It was very good, Jack. I liked Monster Mazoom. Hey, happy birthday, Jason. Today is Jason the Killer's birthday. Happy birthday, my friend. I'll bet you you've celebrated a lot fewer of them than have I. We have one guy who's a semi-regular here who's older than me, but it's really rare to find anybody on the channel who's got me an age. Yeah, that's the contest I want to win. Right, Luna. Even though they're not pro, I don't think you want to get hit by guys who have that much weight behind them. Right. What you want to do in a fight against somebody like that is a lot of quality defense, a lot of quality slipping punches. Yes. OTFS uploaded a new Hiffle. Did they? I should probably do a reaction. I think if they've uploaded a new one, I think I might be. I gotta look. I might be 2 behind. I'm not sure. I can't remember if they come out with another or not since I did the last one. Jack says, what about Girls Bravo and Heaven's Lost Property? Check those out. I guarantee you. Jack, I don't have any time for extra anime. I mean, with what we do at the Goosh and here at the YouTube channel, excuse me, guys, I got to tickle my nose. My days stay really, really full, unfortunately, because if I did have extra time, I'd be busy rewatching some of the anime I want to see again. Jumpscare says, I think with how much Jada has talked about how it affected her, like Will seemed fine with it. Yeah, he was laughing until he saw Jada's face. Also, how important hair is in the black community. The slap makes sense, in my opinion. See, I just can't share that opinion. I don't see where you guys think that words should equal physical violence. And again, coming from somebody who loves physical violence, I just can't picture myself in that same situation. Even if, certainly if it's directed at me, I'm not going to hit anybody over a joke. But even if we're directed at my wife, which would be a much more sensitive spot, I would fire back, but I'd fire back verbally. And it would be mean, it would be raunchy, and it would be nasty, and it would be designed to hurt. But I'm not going to take a swing at somebody over it. Like I said, if that person who's verbally jousting is up in my face and getting physically threatening, that's different. But from stage, no. I would have fired right back at him right from where I was sitting and been really loud about it and tried to be wittier than keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. I would, I would have come up with something I like to think that was wittier than that. But no, I can't agree. I don't see how you go from that to that and think it's okay. Because again, then if Chris, which we're all fortunate he didn't, decided he wanted to escalate it further, you got to say that's allowable too. And so how long is escalation cool? Until somebody's completely incapacitated or what? Jack says, I've seen your last Family Guy reaction. I too love Cleveland. No. Yeah, I do too. And it was funny too, because I really do like Cleveland. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's kind of funny how and it seems like a lot of people agreed with me based on ratings, that even though I really did like him, or I really do like his character, his show was just like it never quite got there. It was funny, had a lot of good moments. The bear thing was okay and everything, but it just never hooked me to where it's like, yeah, I got to see more of that. Excuse me. Oh, really? Philip says, great news, Curtis. Rising of the Shield Heroes getting a new season on April 4th, I believe. Nice. That's a good show. Luna says, how about eye for eye? Will slaps, Chris hits back and done. But there are no rules. You're talking about people's reactions to things. There are no rules. And again, hits, you have to allow for every possible outcome if you're going to say it's okay to keep escalating. So like you say, well, it's okay that Will hits because it was justified by what Chris said. So now as he's walking back, if Chris says, fuck you, asshole, and gives him a shove off the stage, and Will takes a header into the side of a chair or something and ends up in the hospital and seriously damaged somehow, that's okay too. I mean, that's why it's not cool to take a verbal confrontation into a physical confrontation. Yeah, I hadn't heard a release date on him at all, Big Green. I hadn't heard anything on release dates till then. My favorite Family Guy character, James? Oh, man. It's tough because there's so many characters in there. Like, as much as it's mundane to say, probably Peter. He's just such a freaking dumbass. It's hard not to like him. Although Quagmire's up there too. Joel says if Will slapped Curtis, we would have a new meaning to get jiggy with it by having him powerbomb his ass to the stage. Well, like I say, whenever I'm going to have a position or state how I feel about something and it involves individuals, I try and put myself into that situation. And again, it wouldn't have been a powerbomb. Will Smith made it easy. If he'd have slapped me and it caught me off guard like it did Chris Rock, and then he immediately turns around, I'd have been choking that motherfucker out. I mean, that's as easy as it gets. Somebody turned their back to you. You know how easy it is to go up and grab a rear naked choke? And that's an ender. That's a fight ender. It ain't going to be no escape from it. Kaiser says, is there other incidents of Will being an ass in public, or is this a one-off thing? Well, everybody brought up again that other award show he was at when they were out on the red carpet. and I don't know if it was actually a reporter, somebody posing as a reporter, called him in close a guy, and he like kissed Will Smith, and Will Smith smacked him, but it wasn't a smack to the magnitude of what he did to Chris Rock. He kind of went like that, like, what's your fucking problem? That one is different because you're talking about a physical reaction to a physical aggression. You don't know who that fucking guy is, and he's putting his lips on you. So that one was certainly more understandable. You didn't go from somebody telling a joke or somebody making a comment to smacking them. It was again a physical provocation met by a physical response. Elocard says Peter's retardation makes me feel better about myself. Yeah, I tend to agree, James. It says the Joe Swanson hate and Meg hate is the best part, unfortunately, in Family Guy. The Meg hate is hilarious. And I think it's just more than the hate for Joe Swanson. I I think it's more than just you feel bad for him but can't help but laugh at the same time because Joe Swanson never gets a win. I mean, it goes way beyond the sitting in a wheelchair. Everything just turns to shit for him at some point or another. And you can't help but laugh at it. Yeah, I agree, Luna. That red carpet slap was more like Will establishing boundaries of his private space. That's different, I think. Oh, I agree. And again, because we're talking, he responded physically to a physical provocation. I don't care who you are, celebrity or not. You don't know somebody and they're calling you over in good faith because he's trying to hear what your question was, and you kiss him. Well, what the fuck? I don't know who you are. Yeah, I'd backhand somebody too over that. I think most of us would. Jumpscare says it doesn't help that Chris just produced a documentary about how important, I read about that, hair is in the black community, especially to women, how vocal Jada has been about how it's affected her mental state. Right. And all that's fine and good, and still doesn't change a single thing about the fact that to say that that wasn't the appropriate response means it's okay to go from a verbal, not even confrontation, but a verbal joust to a physical confrontation. And I don't think it is. No, I don't. James says that time Peter used Joe's cry as his ringtone and then laughed at. Yeah, I mean Joe Swanson just, God, even me, the crusty old fart that I am, even I feel bad sometimes for how much I laugh at poor Joe Swanson's misfortunes. Gabe says geomagnetic storm warning issued after 17 solar flares are up from single sunspot. Wow. Cannibal coronal mass ejection will hit Earth at nearly 2 million miles per hour, scientists say. Wow. Holy crap, that's some serious flares. Jack says he should have kept his hand 6 feet away. Social distance, that's right. Philip says, I think most of us would backhand a stranger if they groped our ass, let alone kiss us on the mouth without permission. Yeah, I mean, and most should. I don't know about the groping your ass, because I really like attention. The kissing is probably too much attention. But it was just an ass grope. It was like, oh, well, what are we talking about here? Luna says, Will can be funny as well. I think the best response would have been cracking a harsh joke back, but then again, a guy like Chris might be immune to such. I don't think he would be, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's how he should have handled it. And it didn't even have to be a joke. Instead of going up there, he could have, interrupt his bit and tell him straight out. Say, like I say, yell up there, say, yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Really appreciate you making fun of my wife's medical condition. It hurts her a lot, but by all means, have at it. Now, that would have been the appropriate response. And that probably would have been more difficult for Chris to respond to than a smack to the face. Especially if he genuinely didn't know she had alopecia. Then you're real, and not only are you making a stronger point than a slap does, as far as, because we are talking about the Oscars, in the court of public opinion, you become the good guy, and Chris is entirely the bad guy. In some countries, they probably would have chopped Will's hands off. Yeah, rigid rat. Yeah, right, Ron. If someone kissed, I don't know where their mouth has been. No, like I say, I think Will, and people keep bringing that up as on Will Smith as like, oh, okay, there's a pattern of behavior. No, it isn't. It's entirely different. You're talking about he consciously made the decision to go up and smack somebody in the face for a joke as opposed to a, a physical reaction to a physical aggression. That's perfectly understandable. Hey, Big Hova. Good to have you. Spazdev says, I feel bad for all the winners, especially Coda. Coda's win was huge for the deaf community, but was overshadowed by Will Smith. Yeah, you're not wrong, Spazdev. Everything got overshadowed. Nobody is talking about anything out of the Oscars except that. You're right. You're 100% right. Kaiser says, I remember how Peter was appalled at Homer strangling Bart, but he beats the shit out of Meg daily. Last I checked, Bart sent Homer's tie on fire at birth. Yeah. I was just telling, I was out, went out to Braxton's college. His girlfriend was playing, yeah. Now the names of sports are starting to escape me. Oh my gosh. Once it's locked out, once the chair shot lock it out, it's locked out. The Native American game, you play the balls in a net on a stick. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. It's completely gone. Don't get hit by chairs, kids. I'm telling you. Lacrosse. Thank you, Philip. I went to her lacrosse game, and now I've lost the story altogether. It's completely gone now. Forget it. Yes, lacrosse. And I should never forget that because I told you guys before, my gym teacher in high school used to make us play lacrosse in the fall because he went to Syracuse and lacrosse is huge there. And we fucking hated it because we wanted to play football. None of us liked lacrosse. And so one day me and a bunch of my buddies started wailing each other with the sticks. And the vice principal came out and told us we couldn't play lacrosse no more. Boy, my gym teacher was pissed. Gimster says, so does this mean that we will get the cops called on us if we end up making out when we do get together? Do the get together, Mr. Goddammit Curtis? No, because that's all consensual. That solar storm is predicted to hit this Thursday. Is it, Gabe? That'll be interesting. Across Frontier, the anime. Jumpscare says mocking back would be best course of action in hindsight. Oh, I think so. I think clearly. I think it would have been much more effective for Will, too. I think Will just felt his wife being disrespected because Chris knows about Jada's condition. Speaking of Oscars, you see the Amy Schumer thing? Which Amy Schumer thing? Jumpscare, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm trying to think of I'm not an Amy Schumer fan. Anyway, I've never, again, all comedy is subjective. I've never found her funny at all. No, I don't think so. I can't think of what you'd be referring to. Pax says, what do you think about wrestling fans getting so aggressive? Whenever I see someone criticize AEW, they get dozens of angry replies from fans who hate WWE and think AEW is perfect. I think, wrestling, Pax, is just like anything else that's popular and has a fan base. There's always going to be some toxicity to it. As anime nerds, we certainly see that all the time. Same thing. It's anime, whether it's Harry Potter, whether it's Star Wars, there's always going to be douchebags within a fan base. Excuse me. Amy Schumer said she's triggered and traumatized by the slap. Isn't that a little extreme? Again, and he was 100% wrong in the slap, but triggered and traumatized? I don't know. That just crosses so many lines into being overly soft to me. It is what it is. It happened. You're triggered and traumatized. You're going to go to therapy over it? Jesus Christ. Richard Rat says, the only thing I know about lacrosse is that the first episode of the MTV Teen Wolf series involves a lacrosse game. Yeah, I never liked it. I never cared for the game. That's why me and my buddies, because in the fall, during gym class, we wanted to play flag football. And our gym teacher would make us play freaking lacrosse instead. Connor says, how many professional wrestlers have I met in life? Oh, I wouldn't be able to count. I mean, I wrestled myself for over 25 years, so the number of guys I've crossed paths with, I couldn't tell you. Big Green says, it's just slap people. He didn't pull a gun on the guy over a joke. Yeah, but like I say, it is just a slap, but it was a slap. That's way over the top for any joke. Gibson says, I'm getting PTSD over the slap heard across the world. Can I get 5 minutes of fame? I mean, really? You're going to say you're traumatized by it? Because it's not like she was standing next to him. She was off to the wings on the stage and everything. So fucking what? Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. So he slapped the dude because he felt his wife would disrespect. A big deal, real traumatizing. And that's the thing. If you find that as a wild overreaction, as do I, that's one thing. But to say you're traumatized by it, excuse me, that's just as was said. That's just pathetically looking for more attention. That's all that is. Come on, traumatized by it. Ron says Will Smith gave Chris Rock slapstick. James says, I grew up in the hood as a white kid. I got beat up a lot for being white. A slap is nothing. I've eaten a lot of slaps for breakfast. Well, I've told you guys the story before. When I got beat up by those, I don't even remember if it was 3 or 4 anymore, but those 2 black guys kicked the shit out of me. I didn't even mind the beating so much as I did the justification for it. Because they said they were kicking my ass because I was in the wrong neighborhood, and that was 100% factually inaccurate. It was not a quote-unquote black neighborhood. It was a very mixed-race neighborhood. They should have at least had the decency to allow me, well, I wasn't heading that way, but have allowed me to come into their neighborhood before they kicked my ass, or have come up with a better reason for my ass kicking. I just think when somebody's kicking your ass, they at least owe you honesty in the rationale for the beating. Lou says, I don't even find it an overreaction. Oh, completely. It's an overreaction. It's a public event, not a stand-up show. Oh, yes, it's a public event where historically, not just tonight, the comedians are out there roasting people, have been for decades. Don't even get the point of the joke in the first place. Talk shit, get hit. And so, as I said, Lud, okay, so what you're saying is if escalation is cool, then he tells a joke, that's verbal. Will Smith gets up, boom, makes it physical, hits him in the face. Say Chris Rock didn't like that. So now he escalates it more. As Will Smith's walking away, he gives him a good hard shove. He goes into the first row of seats, smacks his face off a chair, and he's in the hospital and his career is damaged. That's got to be okay too then, right? Because you can't say escalation is okay, but only for one person, only one time. So if you're saying escalation is okay, then you just keep going. And then Will Smith gets out of the hospital and goes to Chris Rock's house with a gun or whatever. That's the problem with it. Because Will Smith didn't like the joke. Well, maybe Chris Rock didn't like getting slapped in the face. Well, then maybe Will didn't like getting pushed off the stage. So where does that all end then? Spaz F says Samuel L. Jackson won an Oscar, but they cut it. They cut a whole bunch of the winner, yet it was even longer than last year. Just shows you how much fillers in the Oscars. Samuel L. Jackson won? I didn't even know that. I love SLJ. I won't watch the award show, not because of stuff like this, just because the just self-aggrandizing bullshit gets to me. I can't take it. But I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's one of my all-time favorites. Lud says, still Chris's fault. Shouldn't have made the joke about health condition. Can't complain for getting slapped about it. No, I 100% disagree. Of course you can complain about getting slapped for it. It was still a joke. So what you're saying is that's cool. If somebody doesn't like what you say, they have every right to come up and hit you. I think that's absolutely incorrect. Because once you have decided that you have the right to hit me because you don't like something I said, I feel I have the right to stab you for hitting me. That's cool too. That's what I'm asking you. So that's okay. I mean, how far does the escalation go? That's a legit question, Lude. If it's okay for him to take a verbal confrontation, or it wasn't even a confrontation at the time, but a verbal joust, and turn it into a physical attack, then it's got to be okay for the person who was attacked to take that physical action to the next level, right? I mean, it has to be, because you're saying, as much as maybe Will didn't like that joke, maybe Chris didn't like getting smacked in the face. Rigid Rat says, how about the thousands of people who have gotten roasted for comedic purposes and just laughed it off like you're supposed to? Remember the roast of Justin Bieber? Right. And again, the best one I can think of recently is Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes. He was vicious. Holy crap. And again, it's not something new to the Oscars. Well, they've stopped having hosts here and there, just trying to do anything to get views up again. But for years, that's been the thing. Hosts would go on and roast people. It's again, for decades, you've seen comics doing that. Pax says the Oscars, rich people will give each other $100,000 gift bags when there are homeless people starving down the street from the building. The Oscars are definitely plenty tone deaf. I just can't get into it. And again, it's nothing to do, even if they are, for the most part, politically opposite of me, that has nothing to do with it. It's just all the self-aggrandization in there. I just, listening to them all crying, I have more respect for people who grind it out every day than I do actors and actresses. Ron says, where the heck are the police or security when Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? I got to admit, that struck me as funny too. That is the only place I've ever seen, I think, public space like that, where you can go up and physically, regardless of the reason, assault someone and you don't get removed. I mean, even in most any bar or club I've been in, if you just go up and wail somebody because you didn't like what they said, usually the bouncers take you out or they call the cops, but you're usually removed from the situation. And if you do it at the Oscars, you go sit back down and just wait a few minutes and they give you an award. That was bizarre. That was really strange. Big Green says, I said it before, but I'll say it again. The only awards I watch, the video game awards. It's not for the awards, right? Yeah, I'm not an awards person. I don't watch any of them. My wife likes them, but I don't watch any of them. Chief Jumpscare says, like, in my mind, at the Oscars, you can take shots at the nominees, but you shouldn't bring their spouses into it, especially if the joke is about something very personal, like a medical issue in my eyes. I understand that. I never have had any trouble in understanding what you're saying, Jumpscare. What I'm asking is, so you're saying then it's okay to go smack somebody in the face if you don't like the joke they told. I disagree with that. And again, if that's what you're saying, then you have to be okay with the escalation no matter where it goes. Because as I told you guys, if that were me, that would have fucking escalated. Under no circumstances. And again, I don't give a shit who it is. If it's somebody who's obviously going to kill me in a fight, if they come up and slap me for something I've said, or particularly within the framework of telling a joke, when I'm hired to do that, we're going to fight. It's going to come to a conclusion right then and there. So if you're saying that's okay, then that's your stance on it. I would disagree. It's not okay to go from verbal to physical beating because you didn't like the nature of the joke. The much, much, much more effective method would have been to rag him right back, or even more effectively, as I said, just to said right from his seat, say, hey, Chris, thanks. That's a real cheap shot you took there making fun of my wife's medical condition, and we really appreciate it. That's pure class, dude. That would have been way more effective than hitting him was. Madman says, when Will Smith was on Arsenio Hall, remember Arsenio Hall? Back in 1991, he made a joke at the expense of a bald crew member. When some of the audience acted shocked, Will said, it's a joke. Did he? I don't remember that, of course. I don't remember that at all. Jack says, it just proves money and celebrities can get whatever they want, don't get in trouble. Yeah, that just struck me as odd. when I heard about everything, because I wasn't watching, when I heard about everything that happened, and I watched the replays and stuff, it's like, I don't know of any public situation where I've seen that. Because whatever it is, tensions run high in public forums all the time. Whether it's a local council meeting or something where people are really passionate about laws that are going to be passed or whatnot. If you slap somebody, you get removed. You get taken out. I've never seen that before. In a fully public forum, and he goes up and wham! And he goes back and he sits down. Everybody's like, yeah, cool. All right, okay, can you stop swearing now? Can you stop yelling at him now? We want to give you an award. Big Green says, let's be honest, Curtis, the incident might not be staged, but they totally just let it happen for publicity. I don't know if I agree with that, Big Green. I think they would have stopped it if they could have. I don't think anybody watching that would have thought for a moment that Will was going to hit him. It's actors, and it's an award show. You had to think he was going, especially after he laughed at the joke. You would have to think he was going up there to do some sort of shtick, right? Or that's what I would have thought. He was going to do some sort of, as I said, shtick with Chris Rock about it. I never would have expected to see a smack. I think they would have stopped it if they could have. Gabe says, NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration suggest the first CME will arrive on Thursday, with at least one other expected on Friday. Woof. Be interesting. See, don't let them knock out my internet. God damn it. I got shit to do. Oh, excuse me. I got to go by those. It's terrible lately. I gotta stop doing all that coke. Pac says somewhere Vince McMahon's taking notes about Will Smith's slap and making plans to do something similar to the WWE Hall of Fame. Well, with you guys who said it, when I first heard about it, my first thought was that's a work. Yeah, I thought so too. But then I witnessed it and it's like, well, the slap was definitely real. So it's like, okay. And when I saw how it all transpired, I think if it was a work, it would have been set up differently. For one thing, I don't think if it was a work, because it doesn't make any sense for a work, I don't think Will Smith laughs at it first, then thinks better of it and goes up and smacks him. Yeah, after seeing it, I don't believe it was a work at all. But that was my initial thought when I woke up the next morning and heard all the kerfuffle about it. Madman says, we'll laugh, but he probably realized his wife was going to cheat on him again, and he wouldn't get any if he didn't do something. A lot of people are thinking along those lines. They don't. That I'll agree with you on, Lou. Do they mind the fallout? No, I don't think they mind it at all. No matter what the Academy says about how embarrassed they are and how action needs to be taken, it's great for them. 100. That I agree with. I do think if they had the opportunity, they would have stopped it because they had to, but I don't think they regret it happening at all. No, I agree with you 100% on that, Lude. There's no question. The ratings for the Academy Awards have been dipping for last 10 years at least, right? So any publicity, as they say, is good publicity. So I think the fallout from it all, I think they're loving it. I agree 100% on that. Oh no, M's here, and I was just about to say I gotta go, and she says, you're not gonna leave on me now that I made it to live stream. No. How long have we been on? Hour and 9 minutes. I'll hang in I'll hang in a little bit more. No, I'll hang a little more, Em. The timing would be perfect. I almost didn't see it, Wolverine. I almost didn't see her post in time and that would have been exactly what happened. Link says, what I find funny is people wanting Will to lose his award, but Roman Polanski is okay. Shaking my head, Hollywood is wild. Yeah, I will say that too. I agree with 100%. Link, he shouldn't lose his award. The award had nothing to do with the slap. The man won an award for the work he did in King Richard. Taking his award away is fucking stupid. He should face whatever repercussions as a direct result of the slap. And if the Academy wants to pretend that they are this dismayed by it. So you say Will Smith is uninvited to future Academy Awards presentations, but I don't understand that. Taking his award away, that's totally detached from what went on there. I hope not, Philip, but you could be right. He says, do you think they're going to come up with more and more outrageous things at the following Oscars since this has given them so much publicity? They got to be loving the publicity. Got to be. I hope not. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I didn't see what Lude says, but I like M's response anyway. I must be. Why can't I be cursed with something else, like a dump truck of an ass that gives your back scoliosis? And as me personally, as somebody who has a dump truck for an ass, am I going to get scoliosis? God damn it. That's all I need. You guys are funny. Rigid Rat says, of course the earth isn't flat. She has some well-developed titties. The earth has some quality anime titties. Yes, I am glad I didn't finish the stream, Big Green. You're right. You guys are fun. James says, bullied a flat earther off your stream once. Sorry. Oh, you don't have to be sorry about that. That's okay. I think we'll be just fine. Emerald says, bald men get jokes all the time. Why is it bad now? People can't suggest a joke is in bad taste because the logic doesn't coincide with equality, but I guess it's different because she's a woman. Well, I think people are saying because she has alopecia. But two things to that. One, you don't know if Chris knew. I didn't know she had it prior to this. And two, again, it absolutely, to a lot of people, was a tasteless joke, and that's understandable. But alopecia isn't cancer. She's not going to die. And, I mean, she has every, like the woman I know has alopecia, she has every right in the world to wear a wig or whatever she wants to try and cover it up, or just do what she did and shaved her head. But if you compare that joke to other jokes that have been thrown at celebrities in award shows, it really was rather tame. Again, Ricky Gervais, that wouldn't even made a top 10 list for the most vile things said. Emerald says, oh, Jada, LOL, she's losing her hair because of alopecia, so she was upset about the joke, which I think if you're in the industry, you should be able to handle it. She's probably heard worse. Right. I agree. I mean, and then they showed, they did show, I saw online a clip of her in an interview just like a week or two prior to the Oscars, saying the whole bald thing doesn't bother her anyway. It's just, it is what it is type thing. Well, apparently now it does bother her. So I guess it depends which way the wind's blowing. Bridget Rat says, alopecia sounds like a Greek goddess. You're not wrong. Who rules over medicine and cacti. That's pretty good. But, and like I say, for all those who I'm on the outside of the fence with on this about whether it was right or not, I do agree that the joke is probably tasteless. I'm not somebody who worries when I'm on stage about hurt feelings. And I can honestly say, would I have made that joke? If I knew she had alopecia, no. If I was under the impression she shaved her head as a fashion statement, yes. So I don't know what Chris Rock knew. If I made the joke and then found out later she had alopecia and I didn't get smacked for it because that would have changed everything, I would have apologized. I would have said, oh, okay. I wouldn't make fun of you if I knew it was due to a medical condition. I thought you shaved your head just for the aesthetic, and I apologize for that. I wouldn't have done that. But I don't know what that's worth, but that's my take on it. Justin says, I'll be watching my first WrestleMania in 20 years. They got me hooked back over the past month with the Pat McAfee storyline of Brock Lesnar. Are you going to tune in? I'm hoping to, Justin. I'm hoping to. I got some stuff going on, but I'm hoping to, at least for some of it. Doing good, Hunter. Doing real good. Oh, could you imagine? Gimster, he says, I wonder how people could hope to handle Don Rickles' roast on the Oscars. Don Rickles was the original insult comedian, yeah, for any of you who don't know, and he was a funny guy, too. Oof. I just read that, Pax. He says, Chris Rock's doing a stand-up tour starting in Boston, and oh my God, those tickets started selling fast after the slap. It's sold out now. Right before we came in here, I was just reading an article about it, said it's sold out. Oh, people can't wait to hear now. That venue in Boston has got to be loving the fact that they happen to be the first stop on this tour. God damn. Yeah, James says Richard Pryor was amazing. He truly was. That was a funny man, Richard Pryor. He had some great stuff. M says Chris Rock has made worse jokes about other people. That's true. Was it technically a tasteless one? Somewhat. But get over it. When Will slapped Chris, I thought it was scripted until Will got hella pissed. Yeah, I when I first heard about it, I'm saying the next morning, because I don't watch the award shows. When I heard about it, I'll say, okay, I'm somebody with 30 years of wrestling background. I'm like, that'll work. the ratings have been the shits. They finally figured out how to put a little WWE action into it. But then I saw it, and it's like, yeah, that's not a work. Oh, Richard Pryor was phenomenal. Oh, what a funny man. Yeah, I agree, Madman. Don Rickles was always the best roaster on the Dean Martin roast. Those Dean Martin roasts were fun. I remember them as a kid. They were a blast. Hey, that voice guy. Doing good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, when he started screaming, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. Yeah. I was saying, it's like, nah. And again, as somebody who did his best to make fake fights look real for a lot of years, I immediately was obvious that was a real slap. That one guy says, back in the good old wrestling days, do you ever have any thoughts of going to ECW? It's interesting you say that, because the ECW guys would, when we had a wrestling gym in Schenectady, when they did shows there, they would come in and work out at our gym. So I got to meet a lot of them. But prior to that, I already decided I wasn't ever going to try and be in any one of the big name promotions, because I was too into family, and you're on the road 300 days a year, and I didn't want that life. Had I wanted to pursue that, ECW would have been a perfect opportunity for me, because I was like the hardcore style. So, if that would have been something I wanted to do, that would have been the venue for me. That voice guy says, I'm actually doing part-time training to be a pro wrestler. Bumps on the matter, no joke. Yep. People, that's the first wake-up call when you first start learning. Yeah, guys start to, and the thing is, bumps hurt. Bumps hurt all the time, and you better plan on 30, 40 of them or so a night. What we used to do, I don't know if they still do it that way, we would take guys when they first came into school, the wrestling school, and we'd have them grab the middle rope and crouch, and then let themselves fall back, just to get used to how to spread your weight out on the bump, and then get them to stand up and go from standing to whack on your back. Hinata did win the tournament, James. Yep. Madman says, I really wish Lenny Bruce were still kicking. I haven't heard that name in a long time. He was leagues ahead of his time in stand-up. He was. He is. Yeah, true, Pax. He says if you went to ECW, you would have ended up getting screwed over by Paul Heyman, so you might have dodged a bullet there, yeah. Big Green says, yeah, ECW would have been more fitting for you than, say, WWE or WCW 100. Oh, easily. I mean, when I started, too, and I always liked the violent things, back then, it wasn't even called hardcore. It was just beating the shit out of each other. But, yeah, that would have been, ECW would have been the perfect venue for me. That fit my style perfectly. All right, guys, I do have to go now, though. This was a great stream, and we did hang in a little longer. It's nice seeing you again, Em. So I'm glad we got to hang out a little bit more, but I've got some more stuff I got to take care of this afternoon. Oh, it is after 4, too. Yeah, I did stay too long. Everybody will get over it. But thank you guys for hanging out with me in here. Thanks for finding your way here because it was a no notification day, basically. So I appreciate the fact that you guys were able to find your way in here and have some fun with me. These are always such a good time. I will get started. I'll try and get that Best Character Naruto tournament started tomorrow in the polls for you guys and all. But it's midweek. It's Wednesday, but it's hump day. There's no way that a day known as hump day can't be perfectly in tune with sticky stuff being distributed. With that in mind, and take that as you will, pumpu pumpu, sticky stuff for you, 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 hump day, sticky stuff for everybody, because we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy, and as always, most importantly, and it's sweeter than hump day, goosh, 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 goosh. You'll notice I said it's sweeter than hump day, not sweeter than humping. That's a close one.